And I'll say that this course gave me more insight into the adult learner and how each learner is unique. I also learned about methods for engaging learners with visual aids and different training activities. Through this course, I have a better understanding of the different styles of learning and how sometimes our emotions and also stress can get in the way of the learning process. What I really liked about this course, though, was the actual textbook called the Trainer's Handbook. I thought it was practical and had really great resources that we could utilize after the course.
And what I liked the most about this class is that the online discussions and working through the small groups, I was allowed to see different viewpoints of people that I wouldn't recognize otherwise. I mean, in a traditional setting student, you're more quiet and kind of blend in like a wallflower type. And for me, it was a little bit better atmosphere online that I got to work with my group and learn the different learning styles and the different techniques. With that being said, also I'm a people person, and so it was very difficult for me when I like to know people, get to know people and their learning style, and I feed off of nonverbal communication, so that was a very difficult part of the task.
The biggest takeaways I got from this course were all the theories and applications that we discussed on our discussion post each week. I really enjoyed getting to learn from my own classmates in their discussions in which they were making those connections to their prior knowledge and experiences.
So what I liked about the online discussions is that it allowed me to view other perspectives that were different than my own. I was also able to interact with other classmates, which is something that I worried about not being able to do in an online program.
As far as the discussion boards, it allowed me to literally take that information and use it in my everyday daily life at work with students. It allowed me to further my research on viewpoints that I wouldn't necessarily recognize otherwise. So it was a nice learning experience. It allowed me more feedback, more review, and more just thinking process in general.
I think the one thing that made our project very practical and useful was how easy it was to connect to our prior knowledge and our personal experiences.
The theories. So I think our project in general helped us understand the theories based on our experience as being adult learners who are also motivated and independent learners. We were able to take the concepts that we learned and apply them to a study abroad course that would really benefit a self-directed learner.
As far as the project itself, certainly was very time consuming. I would have never thought that it would have taken as long as it did to put together a syllabus. My hats are off to all the facilitators that have been doing this for years. I loved working in the small group. It had advantages like viewpoints, and getting to know the people was a little bit disadvantaged for me because I'm a more traditional student.
As for the group project, I felt it was a little long. I think collaborating on one group paper and maybe offering a reflection could have been good enough. I did like working in a small group, though.
The group work was very difficult in the beginning of the semester because we were still learning each other. We all weren't exactly sure of what was going on, what was expected, and things like that. And that communication was really difficult. We're all adults, so we all have different schedules, so it was really difficult to find a time that we could all meet live, whether that be a phone call or a meeting in an app, like with video chats and things like that. It was just very difficult to find times to do so. So our main form of communication was through GroupMe, which is a chat app, and I was very appreciative of that app because we were able to get back to our classmates when it was convenient for us, whether you work first shift, second shift, if you have to wait until your kids go down at night, whatever it is, it fit better for everyone's schedule.
I did get to see the whole picture as far as working with the project and the small group, and then also doing online discussion boards. Some of the examples of the weekly discussions into theories would be that we further discussed it at work with similar students that were taking similar classes, and we tried to figure out ways of implementing them in our daily lives, what we were learning simultaneously, so that we would be able to reap the benefits of the actual teachings.
So I felt that the additional resources in our weekly discussions helped solidify what I had just read. and I tended to view the videos first since I'm more of a visual learner, and I felt that the videos in Unit 7 and Unit 8 were really good resources.
Of course, as we all know, we don't all learn the same. I'm one of those people, when I sit down and read a textbook, I struggle to comprehend everything. So I was very grateful for the extra resources that were given to us on our weekly discussion posts. I enjoyed checking out all the different articles and YouTube videos. I was very grateful for this, and it helped.
I would have liked to have received a little more feedback throughout the course. I think that this could have helped support my learning, knowing that I'm headed down the right path. So for example, I would have liked to receive feedback on my writing assignment earlier so that I can apply that to my next paper. So while this is a self-directed course, I really did enjoy working and interacting with others. If that could somehow be built into the course without having a project tied to it, I think that would be beneficial.
Overall, I was able to take away a lot from this course, especially from those discussion posts from my classmates. I was very appreciative of that. The one thing that I struggled with was the cohesiveness of the course. In a lot of different places, there were due dates that might differ or expectations that might differ. I was very grateful for the example blogs that were posted because I referred to those quite frequently to help me get through. That would be my biggest recommendation for this course, is to make it more cohesive and have all the due dates and expectations in one place versus in several different folders.
The course within Blackboard could use a little restructuring and a little more organization. I felt like sometimes I spend a lot of time looking for things and they weren't where they should be.
One suggestion that I have for future students is to build a relationship with your group members as soon as possible. I know it's difficult meeting people when you're only chatting online, but it's kind of important to have that relationship as they will be a huge resource to you throughout this course. It's really easy once you build that relationship to shoot your group member a text message to ask for clarification on an expectation or a due date or anything. It's very helpful to have that student support. And I know it's more difficult to have that student support when you're not in a live classroom setting.
Except for if you're more of a traditional student, time management was a real big issue for me. I know I struggled with it, so that's something that if you're more traditional, learn the different avenues of communication prior to taking the class, and also learn your group members as you go along so that you can blend in.
Students, I would suggest that they use a planner or maybe a dry erase board to help with deadlines, because if you don't keep up with the readings and assignments, it could be easy to fall behind.